Hey fam, Master Coach G here, thriving after 50, mind, body, soul. And in this episode, I am talking about how to develop healthy habits. Yes, started off the year talking about habits and how they actually dictate our health. So this week I want to share with you some tips on how to develop healthy habits. Developing healthy habits is not about willpower or doing everything at once. Okay, we eat the elephant one bite at a time. It's about setting up some life choices, some life goals, and making it become easier in the norm. So I am going to give you some clear, realistic approaches to wellness without the burnout. Okay, so we're going to talk about starting off small but specific. We're going to talk about tie new habits into existing routines, and I'm also going to talk about focus on consistency and not perfection, among other things. This is Master Coach G, and I will see you on the inside. Hey fam, Master Coach G here, thriving after 50, mind, body, soul. And in this episode, I am talking about how to develop healthy habits. Started off the year talking about habits because I think that when we look at what we're doing on a day-to-day basis and we see the things that we do, whether it's our eating, our sleeping, our hydration, or our exercise, once we take a look at those things, which are the four pillars, four principles, if you will, and we see what type of habits we have with those things. Like, let's say you go to bed late at night and you get up early in the morning. So you're developing a habit of possibly being at risk for, diseases or illnesses. So this is a thing that's really important. Developing healthy habits isn't about willpower. It isn't about doing everything at once. Okay, so let's say that you have a bad habit when it comes to your sleeping or your eating or exercising, things of that nature. You can't focus on all of those things at one time. Take one bite at a time, okay? It's about setting yourself up to make good choices so that way it can become easier and it will be the norm for your life, okay? So I'm going to give you some clear, realistic ways to approach wellness without getting burnt out, okay? The first thing you have to do is to start off small but specific, okay? Big goals sounds motivating, but they're hard to stick with, okay? So focus on habits, small habits that's easy to get done, that you can accomplish, and that's easy for you to do because you will stick with them if you can do that, okay? So for instance, let's say you say to yourself, I'm going to exercise every day. Wrong answer. You haven't exercised in years, or maybe never at all. So why would you think that you're going to exercise every day? That's not going to happen. So let's be realistic here. So what you may want to try to say to yourself is, okay, I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk after dinner today. Or I'm going to stretch while my coffee is brewing. Okay, simple things, simple little things that you can start off with and that will allow you to be able to stick with it. Small wins build confidence and momentum. Okay, let me say that again. Small wins, small wins build confidence and momentum. And that's what you want. You want to build the momentum. You want to build the confidence that you got this and that you can do it. But you have to start off small. Here's another thing that you want to focus on is tying new habits to existing routines. So let's say that you eat a vegetable one day a week. Okay, well, that's already a habit. It's already an existing routine that you're already doing. So you're already eating a vegetable one day a week. So let's take that to the next level and let's add another day to that. Okay, small but we want to be efficient and effective with that. Okay, so we want to be able to add to that so that we can make the habit stick and not necessarily just depend on motivation. Okay, because if we can build the momentum, then we don't have to worry about the motivation. And I always say results is the best motivation you could ever have anyway. That's just my mindset, my take on it, and that's how I live my life, is the results. Once I see the results, then hey, it's a win-win for me, okay? And it's like that for everybody, not just for me, okay? So here's another example. Drink a glass of water right after you brush your teeth. You're just developing another habit, okay? Take 3 deep breaths before you open your laptop, okay? Prep tomorrow's lunch while you're cleaning up for dinner, okay? They're small things, but the small things is what get you to the results, okay? If it fits into something that you're already doing, it makes it easier. So you're already in the kitchen, cleaning up the kitchen, so why not fix your lunch? See how easy that is? You're already there, so you may as well, okay? Focus on consistency and not perfection, okay? Missing a day doesn't ruin your progress. It just means that you missed a day, get back to it, okay? So here are some helpful rules that I apply to my life, and they have been working for me for the last 14 years. So I know they work. I never miss 2 days in a row. Well, let me take that back. If I'm sick, which I very seldom get sick, but I went on a cruise in December, and my roommate caught a cold, which I caught a cold because we were in very close quarters, so I caught her cold. So when I came back, I wasn't feeling well, so I took a week off from the gym, okay? Normally, I never miss 2 days in a row. I go to the gym Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is my day off, and then I go Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday is my day off. I don't do 2 days in a row because for me, only speaking about me, okay? I can't speak for other people, but for me, it's hard for me to come back from 2 days. Now, when I missed that week after I came back from my cruise, I was gone a week on the cruise, and I did work out on the cruise. But once I got sick, I didn't work out. So now I missed about 8, maybe 9 days of not working out. That was, to come back from that was a setback for me. So I had to come back from that. I had to gradually work my way back to where I was before I went on the cruise. Okay, which meant that I got back into the gym. I really had to build the routine back. Okay, I didn't go back in lifting and doing all the things that I was doing before the cruise. So what I did was I came back really slow. Excuse me, and I came back and I just did cardio. I didn't do any weights for the first 3 or 4 days. I just basically just did cardio because I was trying to get back to my routine. Not necessarily back to where I was before the cruise, but back to my routine. I had to get back to the routine. That's important, is to get back to the routine. So taking care of the basics first. Wellness doesn't need to be complicated. People make it complicated, okay? You have 4 simple, basic things that we all do every single day. We all sleep, we all eat, we all drink water, and we all get some form of exercise. And I don't care if you're walking from your house to your car, or from your work to your car, or just going for a walk at lunch. That's some form of exercise. So we all do all of these 4 things. We do them every day. Those are basic things. So if we take care of the basic things first, we don't have to make this complicated. And it's not complicated. People make things complicated. Wellness is not complicated. A holistic lifestyle is not complicated. So here are some things that will make the biggest impact in your life. And that's why you always hear me talk about the 4 pillars, because we all do them. Sleep, aim for a consistent bedtime and a wake up time, okay? For me, I am in bed by 7 p.m. 7 days a week. Okay. Now I know most people say, well, my goodness, that's early. Yes, but I'm awake by 3. So in order for me to get my 7 hours, I have to be in bed at a certain time. A minimum of 7 hours is highly recommended for all of us. 7 to 9 hours is what we should be getting every single night. Okay, so 7 o'clock, that's my wind down time. I'm not asleep by 7. I just get in bed by 7 to relax my body, to relax my mind, unwind myself from the day's events, and, get stuff settled in my mind about the next day, okay? Because I wake up at the same time. I'm consistent with my bedtime every single night. I don't. Now, sometimes I may be out, but that's very seldom. Of course, it's the playoffs now, so I'm usually up a little bit later watching football, but for the most part, I'm in bed at the same time every night, and I wake up at the same time every morning. We have what we call the circadian clock. We don't have any control over the circadian clock in our bodies, because if we did, I wouldn't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would move that back about an hour and wake up at 4. I'm working on that, though. I'm working on that. And it does take practice. So your sleep, aim for a consistent bedtime and wake up time every single day. Movement. I can't stress how important movement is. Movement is so important that it affects so many things in our lives. We should look at movement helps. I was talking to this friend of mine, and she has a problem with her digestive system. There was a time when I had the same problem. But once I started working out, once I started exercising, I don't have that problem anymore. My digestive system, of course, gut health is really important. So I take care of my gut. But here's the thing. If you have a problem with your digestive system or gut health, I'm telling you, exercise is one of the best things that you can do, on top of probiotics and magnesium and things of that nature. But movement is one of the best things that you can do. So you should move more and sit less. Okay, so when you're at work, at your desk, you get a break in the morning, go for a walk around in the building. You get lunch, eat your lunch, go for a walk. You get a break in the afternoon, go for a walk. Okay, that's 3 times a day that you can get some walking in. You gotta put some movement into your activity, daily activity. Okay, food. Add healthy food before trying to cut out things. Okay, so I used to have a thing for Baby Ruths and Milk Duds and things of that nature. Of course, I don't eat them anymore, thank God. But so because I substituted the Baby Ruth with a protein bar. So try to substitute some of the things, the unhealthy stuff, and add something healthy. Okay, hydration. Keep water close to you. Carry your water bottle at all times. Keep your water bottle with you. I don't go anywhere without my water bottle. I can go into a restaurant and I got my water bottle. Well, I carry my water bottle because I don't drink out of plastic. I drink out of stainless steel, copper, or glass. Those are only 3 containers that I will drink water or anything out of, as a matter of fact. But keep your water bottle close by. You need to keep it visible so that way you can, and every time you go to the potty or every time you go to release yourself, then you should drink another bottle of water. Whatever you just put out, you should replace it. Okay, keep yourself hydrated. It's really important. Now I know that it's winter time and people feel like, well, I don't have to drink that much water because it's not hot outside. It doesn't matter about the weather. The weather does not dictate your hydration. It doesn't. It could still be cold and you can still be dehydrated. If you don't believe me, your lips will get extra dry. And I know they get chapped during the wintertime, but they will get extra dry in the wintertime because you're not hydrated. So hydration is very important. Excuse me. You don't need perfection. I know people think that, it's like, oh, I got to do this. No, just take a little bit at a time, one bite at a time, because what you need to do is to keep a regular effort going. That's the most important thing. Here's something else that's important. Make your environment work for you. Okay. Habits are easier when you're surrounded with things that support your habits. Okay. Like keep fruit, or nuts where you can see them, so that way if you want to snack on something, you can grab you some fruit, grab you an apple or orange or banana or some nuts. I'm a fan of, I love cashews, and I love pecans. So we try to keep a lot of those in the house versus the chips, because I had a thing for Ruffles too, but I don't eat them as often. Every now and again I get a craving for some Ruffles, and I'll have some Ruffles, but for the most part I just kind of stick with the nuts and the fruit. Okay, here's another thing that you want to do, especially if you are trying to get into a routine of any type of workout. Lay out your clothes the night before. Okay, I've been going to the gym for the last 14 years, and I still lay out my clothes the night before. It's a habit. It's a habit that I lay out my clothes the night before, so that way when I get up in the morning, my mind is already set that I'm going to be going to the gym. Okay. Put your phone away during meals. Let your food, while you're eating your food, let that be your number one focus. Okay, you don't need to be focused on scrolling, looking at, YouTube or anything like that. Eat your food, enjoy your food, chew your food, let your food digest, because, when we're distracted with our phones, we don't necessarily do everything that we should do. So don't have your phone while you're eating. Put it aside, put it in another room or whatever, okay? So instead of scrolling on your phone at night, keep a book beside your bed. Do some reading. Educate yourself on some things, especially when it comes to your health, okay? Design and become disciplined, okay? It is something that you do have to practice. You have to, on purpose, design your plan for wellness. Okay, you have to. Okay, because if you don't, then it's not going to work. Okay, pay attention to how your habits make you feel. Okay, so let's say that you have a bad habit of staying up late at night. Okay, when you wake up the next morning, how do you feel? Did you say, "Oh man, I wish I had went to bed earlier," or "I should have turned off the TV 3 hours before"? Your bedtime is at 9. You're still up at midnight watching a series on Netflix. How do you feel the next morning when you know you just lost 3 hours of sleep? Okay. Wellness sticks when you connect it to the real benefits. When you see how you feel after being up 3 hours past your bedtime, and you're sluggish and you're grumpy and you're grouchy all day, then you should get in bed earlier, because why would you want to be grumpy and grouchy all day? Okay, plus you're just sluggish and tired. So why would you want to feel that? Okay. After a healthy habit, ask yourself, do you feel calmer? Do you have more energy? How's your sleeping? Is it better? Okay. And when you notice the payoff, then you'll want to repeat it. Because if you're getting good sleep, you're going to say, man, I got, you wake up and you get your stretch in, and you be like, wow, that was some good sleep. So what does that tell you? That means, guess what? Instead of going to bed at midnight, you're going to be in bed at 9 o'clock. You know why? Because of how it made you feel, okay? Here's another thing. Be kind to yourself. Healthy habits grow best in a supportive mindset, not a critical one, okay? Talk to yourself in a way that you would to a friend. Encouraging, patient, honest, not harsh, okay? Because progress is rarely a straight line. You're not going to go from A to Z. It's going to be all squiggly. It's going to be A, D, F, Q. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to be a straight line. Progress is rarely a straight line. So remember that. Review and adjust regularly. Review your day, review your week, review your month. And every week ask yourself, what's working? What felt forced? Did you feel like you had to force yourself to get out and go for a walk? Is going for a walk every day, do you feel the results of that? Is that working for you? Do you feel really good from that? And then you ask yourself, what is one small change that I can make? Not anything big, something small. Because when you implement small changes, then that's when you see a difference in your health, okay? Wellness is personal. It's personal. And what works for someone else may not work for you. However, what will work is the 4 pillars. Those things will never change. Those are 4 things that we all do. And if we do them effectively and efficiently, then we'll see results. Those 4 things will work for everybody because everybody does them, okay? Your main goal should be to reduce the stress, your mental health, your overall balance, your energy level. Those things are important. Those should be goals. Those should be goals that you pay attention to on a daily basis, every single day, okay? Ask yourself, what's your biggest struggle right now? See, you have to really talk to yourself in order to maintain a holistic and healthy lifestyle when it comes to your wellness, okay? So you can build a healthy plan, okay, that fits your life, not my life, not your children's life, not your spouse's life, but your life. You want to come up with a plan that is going to fit your life, okay? For example, I'll give you a couple examples. Here's a simple 4-week plan, okay? Daily habits that should be non-negotiable but easy, okay? Drink 1 glass of water after you wake up. One small, simple thing, okay? Take 5 deep breaths or stretch for 2 minutes every morning, okay? During the daytime, move your body for 10 to 20 minutes. Minimum. I highly recommend that you do it at least 3 times a day. If you can get in moving your body 3 times a day for 10 minutes, that's 30 minutes a day, okay? A light walk, a light workout, some chores, dancing, swimming, walking, whatever it is that you like to do, that's what you should be trying to do to get that in every day. In the evening, and it's time for you to unwind, stop scrolling at least 45 minutes to an hour before your bedtime. You should not have a screen in your face when it's time for you to get ready for bed, okay? Because number one, the light definitely affects your eyes and it affects everything else in your body as well. So the other thing is go to bed every night at the same time. You should have a set bedtime, okay? Do you remember, I don't know, this is the over 50 crowd. So unless you're raising grandchildren, you probably don't have any small children around. My granddaughter's bedtime is 8:30, okay? The only time it's not 8:30 is when she's out of school for the summer. When she's in school, her bedtime is 8:30 because she gets up at 7 a.m. every day, okay? 8:30 in bed, 7 a.m. wake up, okay? So if you can set a bedtime, stick with it, wake up at the same time every morning, that's a good habit to develop, okay? Weekly habits, if you look at it, doing it by the week, just 1 or 2 times a week, I'm not saying you got to go full-fledged and do it 7 days. I'm saying once or twice a week, okay? Here's something else that is a simple plan that will help you through the week is plan simple meals for the next few days, okay? Weekly plans, weekly habits, okay? Prepare healthy snacks like fruit, yogurt, nuts, boiled eggs, things of that nature, okay? Check in with yourself. That's so important to check in with yourself. Ask yourself, what happened this week? And then ask yourself, what didn't happen this week, okay? You should always reflect on your week, evaluate your week, make any corrections, adjustments, and be accountable for those things, okay? When you ask yourself what happened this week, whatever needs to be corrected. So let's say that you said to yourself, I'm only eating vegetables 1 day a week. this week I'm going to add another day. Okay, so let's say you say, well, what happened this week? Well, I added another day for vegetables. Then you say, well, what didn't happen this week? I didn't drink enough water. Okay, so that gives you an opportunity to reflect on your week, to evaluate your week, make the corrections. So if you didn't drink enough water, make the correction of making sure that you get it in. Set an alarm on your phone, whatever you got to do, but get it in. Make the corrections, adjustments, and then be accountable for that. Okay, and then get back on track. It's just that simple. Okay, and those things apply to anything, because that was it's actually the reflect on your week, evaluate, make corrections and adjustments, and be accountable and get back into the game. Those are some things that I have a weekly team meeting, and those are the 4 things that we always talk about. Those are the first 4 things that we talk about. Okay, additional add-ons. Okay, only after the second week. Okay, add one of these things in for a daily habit. Some people like to journal. I recommend journaling on this journey because it helps you to see where you are. It helps you to see how you feel about where you are, and it gives you an opportunity to be accountable for your actions. Okay. Do one strength training a week. You know, you don't have to get in there and pump iron every day. Just commit to one day. Okay. Short mindful breath sessions. I always recommend that people do some deep breathing exercises. You can definitely find some on YouTube. So get some deep breathing in. Do some social check-ins. I have a couple people that, excuse me, that I hold accountable for their workouts. You know, they say, oh, you know, sis, I want to go to the gym. One of my friends want to go 3 days a week. The other one goes 5 days a week. So what I do is I send them text messages. The one that goes every day, I send her a text message every day at 4:45 a.m. She gets a text message from me every day, Monday through Friday at 4:45 a.m. Then I have another friend that goes on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. She gets a text message every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. because that's her time to go to the gym. So I send her a text message to say, okay, sis, it's time for you to get it in. So let's roll out, you know. So it's good to have that social connection and that social check-in, you know, and they'll respond to me and say, hey, I'm here, I'm late, but I'm here, you know, because they gotta, sometimes people need that. Okay. And how you track that is just keep it simple. You ain't got to do nothing extravagant. Okay. You can use a notepad, you can use an app, you can use a calendar, but you know, put stuff in your notepad, in your calendar, and then you go in there and you mark an X for each day that you completed whatever the task was. Okay, whether it's adding a vegetable a day, whether it's adding a day to the gym, whatever that is, put an X to it so that way you know that you have completed that task. Okay, don't add no pressure to yourself because you missed a day. Okay, I used to beat myself up. Because I missed a day at the gym. And then I had to realize it's okay, it's only a day, you know, it's not like the end of the world, it's just a day, okay? So here are some rules that matters. And, you know, some of them are personal, but they also they'll work for you as well. I don't miss 2 days in a row because I find that it's hard for me to get back on track. Now, I know one young lady, she goes to the gym Monday through Friday, she's off Saturdays and Sundays. I can't do that. Me personally, I just can't do that. It doesn't work for me. I can't do 2 days in a row. It's just a struggle for me to get back into the game. So I have a day during the week and one day on the weekend that I don't go to the gym. Bad days still count. Okay, just show up for yourself. You know, I don't always feel like going to the gym. There's some mornings, like, you know, tomorrow is Friday. And Fridays are, you know, they're a little rough because, you know, I've gone, you know, 4 days already. And, you know, so by the time I get to Friday, it's like, woo, I'm glad it's Friday. But you know what? I show up for myself. Okay. And the other thing to remember is progress over perfection. Don't worry about being perfect. Just keep making progress. Okay. So here's some last minute examples. Okay. Wake up, drink your water. Before work, get you a 2-minute stretch in. On your lunch break for 15 minutes, go for a walk. In the evening, put your phone away. Before your bedtime, I would say at least 45 minutes to an hour before your bed check. Okay? Okay, let's make it simple, repeatable, and sustainable. And with that, you will get on and stay on the path to wellness. That's what I have for you today. I hope this episode has added value to your life. If it has, please share it with someone that it may be a benefit to as well. Thank you for joining me here on Thriving After 50, Mind, Body, Soul. But before I get out of here, I want to give a shout out to all my listeners here in the United States, Canada, Australia, Russia Federation, China, Mexico, Belgium, Ireland, South Africa, Brazil, Nigeria, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Bangladesh, Ukraine, Kuwait, India, Hong Kong, Dominican Republic, Philippines, Barbados, Saudi Arabia, Spain, Japan, Indonesia, Pakistan, Portugal, Netherlands, Singapore, Peru, Samoa, Finland, UAE, and Lithuania. Thank you so much for joining me here on Thriving After 50, Mind, Body, Soul. This is Master Coach G, and I will see you on the next level.